Hey, welcome back to another SA Weekly talk show. I am here as always we're switching it up this week, and I'm doing the intro for Mike Callahan from SimpleGrowth, SA Certified Advisor. Mike, thank you so much for doing a presentation for us, bringing us a little blast from the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be talking about dominate your market, the blueprint for action. And I'm going to pop the screen here so you can actually see the slide deck. But basically an updated version of my SA5 talk and give you a little background of the talk. And what kind of precipitated this was Jonathan Potoshnik, the co-founder, Service Autopilot, and of the Lawn Care Millionaire, created a conversation about going out and dominating your market. This was basically step 2. So this was the Jonathan talked about the overall theory of going in and dominating your market. And then what I did is what you're going to see here is how to actually take Jonathan Potoshnik's theory of dominating your market and actually how to use that theory and actually utilize it by utilizing Service Autopilot as your tool to go out and dominate your market, as well as some other things as well. So we're going to be talking about how to sell gateway services over the phone, offline marketing, and going to give you some examples how in my company, Callahan's Lawn Care, we went out with 9 different pieces and actually had a little over 300,000 direct mail pieces, Cody. And that's right, 300,000 literally in about a month and a half. So I'm going to show you the game plan of how we broke that down. And then the different tips and tricks right now of digital marketing. So what was applicable at SA5 and some of the new things that we really should be looking at in our marketing plan to go out and dominate our market for this fall and even going into next season of 2021. So some of this stuff just doesn't happen overnight. We want to go in and start building a foundation of a marketing plan, a budget, and a plan of attack. So had a great SA Weekly last week with Martha Woodward of QDS. I'm still looking for an extra pair of shades and trunks to meet them down at QDS 2021. But as we pop into this, Cody, do you have any comments, questions before we flip the screen and kind of get into it?
No, let's put rubber to the road.
All right, perfect. So, like I said, we're talking about the continuation of Jonathan Potoshnik's talk. And what Jonathan's talk really talked about is really focusing in on making some actions happen in your business to actually really grow out and dominate and outscale your competitors. But one of the things that I at least learned in my business is that if we're going to go out and have rapid and excessive growth, just like we did at Callahan's and even at SimpleGrowth, where we scaled a little over 467% in Q1 of last year, and very similar growth again in 2020, there was certain things that I'm going to want to dive into before we actually go into the blueprint. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the bottlenecks of growth and how to overcome them. And especially right now with COVID, we've got some issues going on with labor, to say the least. So we're going to go in and show you how to tackle the labor and creating that virtual bench. And the second part of the things foundational you really want to set up in your business before you grow that business is your office and the workflow, particularly in Service Autopilot, but really the whole workflow. So the biggest well, I guess one of the biggest pivotal points in my learning was when I actually had the ability to go out to Service Autopilot's original office. And it was like in a strip mall, basically. But development was on one side of the parking lot, and support and training was on the other side of the parking lot. But it was interesting because it was myself, Jonathan Potoshnik, obviously, and Garrett Matthews and Chad Cranston, amongst 2 other individuals. But that's when I met Garrett and Chad, and that was pretty instrumental in the way I looked at business and how I wanted to go out and outlearn my competition. But really unique situation in the early days of SA. You could pay a decent chunk of money, but actually have a 2-day or 2.5-day sit-down roundtable with Jonathan. And the one thing that I went there and wanted to learn was, as we were about to scale to $1 million and beyond, how do I set up my internal office to handle the influx of phone calls and estimates that are going to happen? Because I knew if we went out and dropped $35,000 or $40,000 in estimating or in marketing and had an influx of estimates, the wheels would have fell off the business immediately. And one thing Jonathan talked about in his talk, which was interesting, is test the waters, don't go all in. I made the mistake of literally dropping $30,000 to $40,000 over about a month and a half period in New York, and the phones exponentially exploded. Thankfully, I had learned from Jonathan and the SA team at that roundtable. how you need your software set up. And if you've been watching any of my videos, that foundational workflow of the flow chart of lead acquisition through estimating, through scheduling, billing, and fulfillment really is that takeaway, what I took away from those 2.5 days. So as we're diving there, I just want to throw a little caution to the wind. You want to test this in little chunks before you go out and drop $30,000 to $40,000 in an advertising budget, or whatever that may be, a substantial gain on what you're doing now. And if you're not doing any, and you're just maybe going in for a couple grand, you're still going to see quite an influx from what you're used to. So just be aware that that's the case. So foundationally, we want to make sure that office is set up correctly. And we want to look at the 3 major bottlenecks of growth. And we're going to focus on labor today. We need to address labor first and double down. So the 3 bottlenecks of growth are really growing fast without the right people, growing fast without knowing your numbers, and growing fast without enough cash flow. So either one of these 3 things will literally destroy you in the process. So the first thing is Jonathan talks about building and growing that virtual bench. And the idea is the methodology. So you want to really go out and constantly be recruiting for each person in position in your business before you need them. Because if you're looking for them when you need them, it's too late. So you want to go out and constantly interview once a week, I'd say at a bare minimum, for every position, and maybe even your own position. That's how I found my replacement of the gentleman that ran my business. But the idea is we're creating this virtual labor pool or virtual bench, and have the ability through an automation or even a manual process to be able to go in and sort down, hey, I want all my A applicants from the last 20 days or 30 days. And now you've got a glorified hiring checklist. So when you have that employee that comes in and the guy or girl they're working with is a no-call, no-show, that's when you're probably going to get blackmailed, Cody, for, hey, I want $1 an hour raise if I got to work by myself today. So it's going to guard you from your internal team right now. So you are back in control, but more in perspective of this talk is growing fast without the right people. You need that virtual bench, because when you slam the gas on for that sales machine, you are going to need to add bodies in there. So you better have that pipeline of ready employees ready to go. And then before you go out and make that massive growth play, we want to know our numbers. Are we pricing our jobs correctly? Do we know what it costs us per hour to break even before we make a profit? And what's the desired dollar per hour that we're supposed to do? And hopefully we have some production rates as well. We don't want to be basing our numbers on the competitor down the street, because that's going to be a recipe for failure. And cash is king. We want to make sure we have enough cash flow in our reserve. So one of the other speakers at SA3, and I believe it was SA6, was Mike McCallowitz, Profit First and Pumpkin Plan. So what I really recommend is diving into Profit First and figure out what those cash flow allocations look like, and being able to see the ebbs and flow of your cash flow before you go in and make a really strong play like this. Because if you go in and double or triple, or even like SimpleGrowth's case, growing by 400% in a quarter, if you don't have that cash war chest and have a projection of what your cash outlay is going to be, you can literally bankrupt your business overnight. So those are big things that we need to look at before we pump the gas on this exponential growth. Mm-hmm. So the cost of a bad hire to your team, Cody, traditionally is 2 to 3 times the person's salary. And I kind of looked at that and I said, well, that, based on the stats before I did this talk, that seems ridiculously high. That can't be possible. But the stats I've got here are actually kind of interesting. So turnover was a major problem in Callahan's lawn care, and that created some indirect costs there. And based on, obviously you got the direct cost of help ads, screening, interview, training, bonuses. Those are obvious. But the indirect cost is that employee turnover and having to continue to retrain those employees. And then based on the inconsistency of the new employees and the training, while they're still getting acclimated, you've got lower customer satisfaction. And then we went in and looked at the damage caused by some of these wrong hires. They weren't a good fit. We kind of knew they weren't a good fit, but then we kind of let that go in the early years. So we've got lower customer satisfaction. We got cancellations, and then having the wrong people on the wrong seats of the bus. Like you have the best weed whacker, the best mower, the best cleaner. But if they're not a good fit for your business culturally and how you work, it's going to take your A players and probably drag them down to B. So you're going to have a loss in productivity and a loss in morale. So not only is it affecting the new folks you're bringing in, but it can also negatively affect your core A players on the team, because these things are starting to wear on them because the weight of that is really going to be held on their shoulders. So as we're looking at, I kind of said, 2 to 3 times a person's salary from the stats all over on the internet, the different books I was reading. That seems kind of crazy. So I actually went in and did some research of some of the bad hires that we had at Callahan's. And we were anywhere from 25 to 30 employees, depending on the season, plus subcontractors. But Cody, any idea if you're looking at $1 million and beyond business, the cost of a bad hire in the field, not management, what would that run? And I'm going to, on the next slide here, I'm actually going to show you what it cost us on average.
I would bet because I do not remember this talk, so I'm not cheating. I would bet that the way that you are talking about it is going to lead to it cost you more than 2 to 3 times this person's salary.
So if you're to throw a ballpark number out there, and I mean, we're telling, and I sorted through some of the horror stories, but I mean, these were individuals that we should have either coached up or coached out, and we didn't. And things happen, and then we kind of figured out over a 12 or 13th month tenure what this actually costs us.
So taking into account like customer cancellation or like customer satisfaction, where like they don't like what you're doing week to week. So
callbacks, complaints, got to go back. We didn't blow off the patio set, whatever that was.
All of that. I'm going to say $100K. Pretty
close. $125,000. So before we go out and scale that business, we need to make sure. And I'm reading off some notes here, but we figured it covered customer cancels, damage, projected production drops due to morale and motivation, kind of our budget versus actual. Mm-hmm. And then what we looked at is said, okay, well, based on that, we need to figure out how to fix our labor costs. So we went in and created a piece rate pay system. So we paid the guys and girls on a budgeted time, and they got paid for the budgeted time, not the straight time. Now, obviously, there's overtime rules and things you need to be applicable if you're watching this. But the goal for us was to actually get them more money than they would have even made with overtime. But what we were looking at is with that piece rate pay system, we were being able to generate per crew an extra $1,200 to $1,300 a week without changing a guy or girl on that crew or a piece of equipment. But what that did is it started to change the way we looked at hiring. And there was some 3 distinct things that we came up with that actually helped. And I want to share those. And they're 3 low cost, high return hiring strategies. So the interviews are screening for values alignment. So I've used the example before, but I'll use it again because it really works. So one of our core values is we'll do what we say we'll do at Callahan's is one of the core values we had. So on a interviewing screening call, the office one of the questions it asks is like, hey, how do you feel if someone says they're going to call you back, but they never do? That's an alignment for our values. How are they aligning with things that we're actually standing for? Now, if they're like, whatever, it's not a big deal if they call me back or not, that's a red flag to us that that's not a cultural alignment. Then we had job descriptions that focused on the culture. So just like we'll do what we say we'll do, we had another one that was basically we give you the lifestyle you desire. It was actually twofold. And when we built that over at Elite Momentum and Forum, that we were looking at, we wanted to give our employees the lifestyle they desired. So if they wanted to be out by 3 o'clock to go see their kids' baseball game or football game or ballet class, whatever that was an alignment. We wanted to empower them to make as much money as possible, but with a quality constraint, get paid for maybe till 5 o'clock with that budgeted time. So now we were starting to drive the ability for them to almost run their own little business within ours. And I'm going to show you actually some job descriptions and some help ads that we did later in the talk that focus on some of this. But the idea here is these job descriptions focused on the culture that we had. And we also had it on the front end of the focus of culture. We wanted to give our customers the lifestyle they desired. So just like our internal employees, maybe our customer wanted to go to their kid's sports event and not have to worry about cutting the lawn on the weekends or cleaning the house or whatever that was. So it was twofold. It was internal and external. And then the final thing was standard selection process. So as we talked about, Jonathan, in building that virtual bench, what we had built into an automated process that originally was non-automated. So it was manual. So if you're not automating things yet, this still applies, but we have a standardized selection process. And that process literally is going into an online application that makes them jump through some virtual hoops to make sure they're actually ready to apply for the job. And we're trying to buy some time back as well. But once they get through that application, part of the process is somebody in the office is going to set up an interview date and time with them and plug that into a master form. And then that automation is going to either email or text message them the week before and the day before the interview and give them some homework. Going down the DMV to get a driver's abstract. And I don't know if you've been to the DMV lately, Cody, but let me tell you, if you've been there, if they got there and waded through that list and actually got that driver's abstract by the time they got to the virtual interview or the in-person interview, we knew somebody was actually interested in that job. And then we standardized the questions. It wasn't always the same exact 5 questions that we'd ask. We'd ask more, but there was at least 5 that we asked every applicant. And they also focused on that culture and alignment and if they were a good fit. But the idea is we had a non-bias of at least 5 questions every applicant would get asked. And then we would rank them A, B, and C in that automation. Then we could pull up that virtual bench or that qualified labor pool. But right now, the labor market's tough. So these 3 low-cost, high-return strategies are the ones we use to help tackle those indirect costs up front and hopefully alleviate the no-shows, the turnover, the cancels, and the effect of morale of our folks in the field or even in the office for that matter. So as we're looking at...
Before you get into this next slide here,
yep.
The hiring landscape is really different right now than it was, last season when people were trying to staff up because of the amount of layoffs that we've had. How do you think people should be going after like non-traditional applicants?
Well, I still think right now, for what we're seeing is Indeed right now is probably a hot spot. There's some other plays that right now that we traditionally did, and I think Jonathan has done it as well. He's probably talked about it at his academy, but traditionally we had a very large Hispanic or Guatemalan workforce. So we would actually sometimes go out and recruit at some of the churches and talk to the pastor to see if we could somehow either donate some money to the church or somehow get into that ecosystem. A couple of our managers actually went to the church services, but we knew our core group of Guatemalan employees hung out at certain churches in certain areas on the weekends. So we went there to actually try to recruit them. And then in addition, we had, I would say, as far as our American workforce, there was 2 or 3 trailer parks that a lot of the guys and girls lived at. So we did some heavy, extensive, basically advertising to those trailer parks as well as doing a referral program. We'd always laugh like, hey, if somebody's car broke down or these guys couldn't get to work, we might as well just buy a bus and just send it over because it was a central area between 3 or 4 trailer parks. So those were our key areas that we found our best employees were hanging out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is I know a ton of people who worked in the service industry, like restaurants, bars, who are out of work right now. And I mean, as you know from your days DJing, if you don't know about that, Martha will send you a picture. Get in touch with Martha.
Complete with frosted tips. But no, I mean, and actually when I was a nightclub DJ, depending on the individual, they were great. They were great folks because it was the opposite work shift. As long as they were responsible at night and weren't on all-night benders, they were really great. And it was non-traditional, but they were used to standing on their feet and going 24/7 and a lot of chaos around them. So they were, those were great folks, especially the bouncers and the bartenders.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just trying to get strategies out of you for pursuing, like back of house people at restaurants and even like waiters in the front of the house. Like you said, they're used to being on their feet, pushing all day. And the kitchen may be air conditioned, but it's not.
Right. Yep.
They're used to that. So
the kitchen's a tough one. I'm not sure how, but what I will tell you is business cards here always have them on you. I won't mention the fast food joint, but there was one local one here that there was 2 or 3 individuals working that fast food window, and just like they weren't lawn care folks. But I will tell you, if you can grab somebody that can run a register at a McDonald's or Wendy's or Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts, those folks are handling a lot of different things at once, and there's precision and there's detail. It's not your typical lawn care, home cleaning folk. But I tell you what, if you put me on that register at McDonald's with the multi-drive-through, I would fall apart in about 10 minutes. I don't know how they do it. There is a skill set, as well as some of the management for those fast food organizations, they're making $60,000, $70,000 a year, but a lot of times they don't like to be stuck in the hot kitchens and in that environment. But those individuals that, if you could find somebody that runs and manages fast food joints for a corporation, they are a really good fit for management style of a service business, in my opinion, at least. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, you got to be ethical. But if you've got a card and you give it to them, I tell you what, 9 times out of 10, I got a phone call back within a few days. Mm-hmm. So good question, though. Any other questions there?
No. Keep going.
So as we're kind of looking into this now, we want to visually break down the employee recruiting, starting with the hire, train, and the core values. So just as a quick visual, we've got our Craigslist, Facebook, Indeed, referrals from employees like I talked about. And something else we've recently been playing with is Facebook Messenger bots to actually create another funnel through Messenger. But the idea here is we want to get them in and we want to interview and align to those core values. And then we're going to go in and hire and onboard and reinforce those core values. And then once they're in there, traditionally, and especially my company in the beginning, before we really invested in this, is we wanted to wow them and align with cultural values. And one of the ways we did that was reinforcing public service and different things we did. But a lot of times, once we get somebody in the bench and they're working for us, we kind of forget to reinforce those core values. So those are things that are important to continue to reinforce and keep them engaged and believing in not just a paycheck, but what you guys actually stand for. So as you mentioned, Cody, said maybe we've got traditional or non-traditional employees now that we're going out to recruit. So how do we attract and sell your company to the right prospects, but not the wrong ones? So this was in the early days of Callahan's here, but we had dug it up, and snow removal professionals, the lifestyle you desire. So that is what we're standing for. We've created a company video here, and I'll break down what I included in this, but this is still very applicable right now. But the main thing is, what are we looking for? So we set the example of either whether you're a subcontractor or employee. There's 2 different ads we ran, but we dialed in what the day in the life looks like. And what are you going to be doing? What you'll need to be successful. And if you want to stand out here and really excel, these are the things you're going to need. So we broke those down into what are we looking for, what you'll be doing, what you'll need to be successful, and you'll stand out here if. So these things through an interview, when we start hitting on these major points, start to figure out if they're a cultural fit and if they can actually hack the work of being outside. So in this video here, or slide deck, depending on how you do it, we used to have a big 60, 70-inch TV in the office, and we would do a Google slide deck or PowerPoint, or we had a recorded version when we standardized it and delegated it. But the idea here is it went through every position in the company and the pay rates and the responsibility. So we showed them that as they came into the company, there was literally no glass ceiling. They could evolve from the bottom all the way up to the top to my position. Eventually, I got replaced, so people could actually see the ballpark range of what my salary replacement would have looked like. And then we dove into some pictures here. So there's probably, I'm guessing, 12 or 15 vehicles here in the shot that we could fit with the guys in that morning. Near the end of it, we were around 19 or 20 trucks. But we had pictures of literally when we had 2 or 3 trucks, to 5 or 6, 7 or 8, and then the whole entire fleet. So we showed as the business grew, everything kept growing. So we wanted to show that it wasn't just static. There was growth. There's a potential. Because a lot of times when people go work for a lawn care company, probably 95% of them, when they come in as a technician, they're really never going to go past that crew leader. We wanted individuals that want to grow their career. In addition to that, we had a picture of a guy with a hedgerow. It was actually my ex-brother-in-law, and he was trimming a hedgerow, and this thing must have been about a quarter-mile long. It was 90 degrees out, and he looked like he was going to die. But we showed him the realities of the work, and there was a few other pictures of a guy pushing basically a salt spreader, and he had been out in a rain ice storm for 12 hours, and he was just soaked. He looked like a wet dog. But we built them up. We wanted to make sure in alignment. We also kind of wanted to scare out the applicants that, hey, this is out in the sun. You're going to get a sunburn. Like, it's hot. You may be carrying equipment for 10, 11 hours. You may be out in a snowstorm for 10 or 11 hours with some break state mandated. So we wanted to give them a taste of the reality. And then we touched on some things about cultural alignment. So we had a culture of giving back. So this is a really sweet couple. If you're on YouTube, you probably can still find it. But this is a video where my manager followed me into this house, and I think their daughter or their niece submitted them in, because every year before Veterans Day, we would raffle off free snow plowing to a veteran. These guys had won, and I forget if it was, I'm assuming it was probably World War II, but they were in their mid to late 90s. Really, really sweet couple. So we surprised them and gave them a certificate for free plowing. And they invited us in the house and let us share the video. But the idea is we wanted to reinforce the cultural alignment of what we stood for and ask the new employee or the potential employee, how do they feel about this? We want to give back and give that lifestyle people desire internally as our employees and externally outside. So these are the types of things that we did. And then obviously we're constantly recruiting with that automated system. So I'm not going to get into the total details of the idea of the process, but we've got an English and Spanish landing page, and those are the job descriptions that fit culture. When we do the interviewing process, we got interviews that screen for values alignment, and then that selection process is standardized with those 5 questions. And that's what it kind of looks like in an automated flow. English and now basically street Spanish is what we've been doing. So the final thing is, before we go in for this market or this blueprint to really go out and exponentially grow your business, is you want to look at creating prospects in leads and Service Autopilot. So Service Autopilot at this point in 2020 does not have the ability to automate employees. But what we've done is taken clients or leads basically, and we've added some structure to it. And now you can sort down on job applicant. And this is something we built in Callahan's, and now we've repurposed at SimpleGrowth. But the idea here is now I can go in and filter down to those A, B, and C job applicants with a date range or a time filter. So we've created basically Jonathan Patoshnik's virtual bench all inside Service Autopilot. And foundationally, these are all the things that, in my opinion, you need to have your ducks in a row before we go out and dive into this life cycle marketing to dominate your market. So probably most people tuned in to figure out how to dominate your market, but I thought it was really ethically a thing I had to get into before we do it. Is you need that foundation, because if you go in and do all the things I'm going to show you here, the wheels are going to fall off if you don't have those foundations, especially the cash flow, knowing your numbers and having the right people on the bench. So life cycle marketing is basically a way that we attacked our marketing. And really what it is we're going to talk to the lead or the client where they're at in the life cycle. And what I'm going to suggest is most businesses have 4 or 5 areas where they're literally physically taking the money in their business and dropping it in the trash can. And you can kind of see some of these little red cans here along the way. So on a real high level, I'm going to connect life cycle marketing and then show you the different pieces that we use to go out and dominate my market throughout the years. So right now we should be probably going out through Facebook, AdWords, 9-arounds. That's when you drop a pin on a house, that new lead comes in, and we market the 9 surrounding homes. Potentially banner ads, average or direct mailing, and now updated conversational marketing we've talked about, Cody, is Facebook Messenger bots that can automatically estimate pricing based off of the square footage at Zillow. So we've got the ideas, we're driving them into our website here. And if they're not ready to convert, we should have something called a lead magnet. I'm going to break down what a lead magnet is, but it's going to be a simple ask for first name, last name, and email that gets them inside Service Autopilot. Because if you're spending all this money on Facebook and AdWords and 9-arounds, you're driving traffic to that website. But if you're not capturing them, if they're not committing to an estimate, you're throwing all that marketing money away. So we're going to have a lead magnet so we can continue to nurture them. And when they're ready to buy, hopefully we're top of frame of mind. In addition, we really should have a Facebook pixel on the back end of your landing page or your website to go out and retarget them through a custom audience. These are things that can be set up very quickly and easily, and there's pennies on the dollar. But if you're not tracking a lead magnet and that Facebook pixel and retargeting that custom audience of people that have hit that website, that's one hole. Now, in your sales funnel, we really should have a short-term education and some kind of automated estimate follow-up. So this is very similar to what we do in 20 days to close. So we're educating them how to do the service themselves and whatever service they're interested in. But in that process, we're overcoming any sales or price objections. So we're shortening that sales cycle, and we're making the business owner the experts. We're creating a higher perceived value. So you can charge a higher price. Most service businesses, including my own in the early days, didn't have the time or ability to follow up on an estimate. So we've used Service Autopilot automations to follow up in that 20 days to close process. So if we lose that estimate, the next hole that you're potentially going to see is lost estimates. Do you have a way to bundle them up per service, nurture them, And then about a month to a month and a half before that particular season starts. So if we're going into the fall and all our estimates for, say, fall time aeration and overseeding, do we have a way to go out and reactivate them and upsell that service? So instead of taking all that marketing money and literally taking all the lost estimates and physically, or somewhat physically, taking them and throwing them in the trash, now we're creating a database that we can nurture and upsell. If the sale is won, do we have a way, if it's a one-time sale, so very similar like a cleaning company, if somebody signs up for a one-time cleaning but doesn't buy the reoccurring weekly or bi-weekly cleaning, or in lawn care, if they sign up for a one-time spring cleanup in the beginning of the year, but they haven't bought a reoccurring fertilizing or mowing, we should have some place in effect to make sure the automation or manual process triggers 5 days after that service if they haven't scheduled the reoccurring service to upsell it. Otherwise, you've got another huge hole in your sales funnel here. And then when we've got that reoccurring sale right out the gate, a gateway service, and we're going to talk about gateway services here in a minute, do we have a way to upsell another reoccurring service? So something that we've seen real success in the Service Autopilot Academy ecosystem, without giving away any of the tips or tricks, is a lot of the Academy elite members and regular Academy members are taking the teachings of Academy and saying, how can we take a stop of, say, fertilization and maybe be licensed for perimeter pest and mosquitoes? So now that we're going there with the same truck and very minimal extra equipment expense, we're not only fertilizing, but we're doing perimeter pest and we're doing mosquitoes. For an extra 10 minutes, they've tripled or doubled the bottom line margin on that. So we're going out and creating a process there. And then we want to go out and cross-sell and upgrade with seasonal timing, and then be able to reactivate any loss estimates, cancels again, based on the seasonality. So those are the kind of core areas that you want to look at before we dive into the actual takeaways of this talk. But the next thing we're looking at is, I talked about a lead magnet, Cody, and a lead magnet is just literally something of value. So this was right off the Callahan's website, 6 reasons to hire a professional video series. And we utilized the back end of a Service Autopilot form, and it would automatically enter them in the Service Autopilot, and then we'd start nurturing them. So lead magnet ideas, video series, white paper, or how-to guides with pictures. So this is actually a screenshot here of when we had the pleasure of flying down to Dallas a year or two ago to meet with all of the Service Autopilot Academy Elite. So if people are watching this and wondering about Academy, from the things I've seen, it is worth every penny. It is great, and they bring in professionals in like Jason Cupp, Jim Houston. They brought the SimpleGrowth team in, but we had the pleasure of hanging out with Academy Elite 2 days, and part of that time we taught and did automations with them. But one of the things we provided them as an Elite member as your 4 big essentials for lawn care. And this was a lead magnet with all the content that we wrote for them. And a lot of Academy members are still using this, Cody, and actually having really good success for that. Up to that point, Cody, any questions?
This is all good stuff. Is there somewhere, if people want a copy of that flowchart, is that somewhere that they can get it, or can we come back and put it in the comments later?
Yeah, we can put it in the comments. I can put it right on the messenger bot, right on the SimpleGrowth Facebook page. And okay. Give me about 24 hours, and we'll put that back on the notes, and we'll just have they can type in slides or whatever that is, and it'll automatically give them a PDF download right there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that would be a really helpful thing to print out and have near your desk, especially as you're thinking about your marketing plan. Just being able to identify which of those trash cans you're letting people fall into.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, happy to do that. So if you were at SA5 and you heard Jonathan's talk, he talked about anchoring your business with 2 to 3 core recurring services. So I'm going to break this down kind of industry specific. So lawn care, what I'm going to recommend as a core recurring service is your lawn care. So as far as lawn mowing, fertilization are your 2 core gateway services. So those are things that you can go in right now and measure through Smart Maps or Maps Pro, depending on version 2 or version 3, and automatically calculate a price and budget of time and sell over the phone. Now, home cleaning is pretty interesting. So you can actually pull the square footage off of Zillow pretty quickly in the office and ask some qualifying questions of number of people, pets, different things for that, kind of that dirt code. How dirty is the house? But the idea is we want to be able to sell 2, maybe 3 recurring services right over the phone. and close them right there, because speed is the name of the game. So when we anchor those 2 to 3 recurring services, we want to use digital marketing to cast that broad net. And we're going to use such things as custom audiences in Facebook, list of prospects and service autopilot, and import those into Facebook for other custom audience. And then Facebook ads targeting your ideal geographic neighborhoods or demographics. So we're just going to plug basically a geofence over your service area or your ideal service area. And we're going to go out and cast that digital net. And we're going to have that Facebook pixel hopefully on that website so we can retarget those people as they look at it. But the idea is the digital net is going to cast around your whole entire service area. But now we're getting customers popping up over here, over there, Cody. And name of the game is route density. So we don't want to be driving all over. So what we're going to do then is use offline marketing to zero in for route density. And the way we're going to do this is use Maps Pro to create a list. I'm going to show you how to do property-specific pricing. A couple things that we did at Callahan's. We had a list of over 10,000 homes being currently mowed by our competitors. So I'm going to break that down for you, how you can do that in your market before it's too late for the fall. And then we also use the Send Jim integration for cards, gifts, and Ringless voicemail bombs. So we're going to cast that digital net out through Facebook and maybe pay-per-click. And then we're going to use offline marketing to focus in on the areas we're already at. Or if you're looking at the map, the big gaps between your dense areas so we can minimize that non-billable drive time. So we're going to dive in now, Cody, to show you how we use Service Autopilot to actually handle these objectives here.
Hey, I want to point out one thing real quick about your Facebook retargeting. You have the pixel set up on your website. Anyone who comes through, no matter what source they're coming from, so if they're coming from an AdWords click, they're coming from their neighbor told them about your company, whatever that source is, if they have a Facebook account, they're getting put into your custom audience to then get followed around on Facebook by you. So that retargeting audience is so important because it helps you spend a little bit more, but it makes all of your campaigns more successful.
Okay, yeah, no, good input too. And I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but a couple of screenshots I have well, I know a couple of them are a little outdated just with the Facebook pixel because it's constantly moving, but I will give everybody an idea of where to find that stuff as well. And you may have some input as that, Cody. But the online marketing, that Facebook pixel, so use the knowledge you gather about them to build a stronger relationship. So target those users that have been to a certain page of your website if you want. So maybe somebody was looking at snow removal or lawn care or pest control. Go out and you can basically dial into certain pages or all the pages on your website. Track how many visitors converted after seeing a particular ad on Facebook. And then the stats, most new sales take about 43 days to convert into a customer. At Callahan's, when I ran the metrics before this talk, it was about 64 days. So we need to continually be out with those retargeting ads to stay in front of them and the short-term or the long-term nurture, depending where they're at in that customer lifecycle. And on average, they will click at least 5 call to action, so CTAs before buying. So it could be that lead magnet. It could be the Google review link. It could be the customer testimonials you have on your website. So you want to make sure you got enough beef in there that they can go through and click on different things. We want to continue to provide that free, valuable content to let those cold leads know who we are and hopefully warm them up so they're ready to buy. Mm-hmm. And we definitely want to go out through education and not a sales pitch because we want to get them to know, like, and trust us. And those are going to convert into better customers. So as you go in here, the Facebook ads pixel now, like I said, some of this stuff has been moved around, but this at least give you a base idea of kind of the things you need if you don't have it. So right now we're going to go up and set the pixel here. And we're going to select our campaign objective. So most people are driving brand awareness or messenger right now. But obviously you want to talk to a Facebook ads expert before you do this. But I wanted to give you some overview of kind of what this looks like behind the scenes if you've never gone into the ads manager. So next thing is we want to go in and name the campaign, make it something with a standardized naming convention so you can go back historically and see what it is and it makes sense. And then we want to go in and grab that pixel, and it could be from any URL on your website, or it contains this. So people have visited the specific web pages in the last 30 days. I believe, what is it, 180 days that can be retargeted now?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of retargeting you're setting up. There's some things that'll go 365.
Okay. So obviously we want to set that retargeting as well.
Yeah.
And then we want to downsell our gateway services. So we're going to sell those core services like the lawn mowing, the fertilizing, or the cleaning over the phone. So we're going to utilize Maps Pro to measure the property or get the custom fields off Zillow for the home square footage for cleaning. We're going to create custom fields and store them in there. So turf square footage or home square footage goes in there. And then we have price matrices that automatically calculate a price, a budgeted time, and a cost before profit in the pre-templated service autopilot estimates. So these pre-built estimate templates are going to create speed and accuracy and allow people to downsell. So we're not going to try to sell everything in our service mail offering. We're just going to get them on the 1 or 2 services we can get them over the phone quickly. And then we're going to go back out there in say 20 to 30 days and upsell additional reoccurring services. So the idea is lock them up over the phone for speed and accuracy. So now that we've gone in and cast that digital net and sold over the phone, we really want to go in offline and build route density. So in the leads feature in version 2 of Service Autopilot, we're able to go in and dial into a map here. And what I've done is, you can see here, these tabs here, these yellow ones, I can go in and click on each house in a neighborhood or the 9 surrounding houses. And what it does is it creates a lead list here for you. So what we did is we made marketing lists of all the homes around our existing clients. And then we brought college kids in the winter to actually go in and create property specific pricing based on our matrices. And then we did direct mail campaigns offline to those homes. And that was one of the plays. The additional play was we actually went out and took like a notebook, and ethically, I think this is okay. I didn't make some of my competitors really happy when we did it, but we drove around every single neighborhood that we service coded, and we created a list. And it was like 1, 2, 3 Main Street. We put the name of the street in the notebook, and then just listed the house numbers underneath it. And this, we ended up creating a database of about 10,000 homes, and we could tell they were being mowed, at least in the Northeast, by the lines in the lawn in the front. When we drove up, you could tell this lawn was probably commercially mowed here, especially when you're looking at it directly. So any lawn that looked like it was commercially mowed, we added it to list. And then we had some college kids come in the winter, measure them, and create a database. And then what we did, I'll show you a picture of it in a little bit, is we mailed all of those out with property-specific pricing. And on the envelope, we went to a mail house that did it. And it said lawn mowing customer with the address. The first time we did that, we had a very significant adoption rate. Now, the effectiveness went down, but the first year, we probably picked up over 200 lawn mowing accounts alone. But we had the lawn mowing, the fertilizing, and the aeration and overseeing, all there, 3 options, and then bundle and save. But this is one way of using Service Autopilot. And then if you're using a product like Send Jim, a radius bomb would literally just drop here, and it would grab the closest 9 addresses and could potentially automatically send postcards 1, 3, or 5 times is what I'd recommend. But probably 3 or 5 is what you want. But the idea is you can do this manually, or you can automate it through Send Jim. And then we want to streamline our pricing with that pricing matrix I told you about. So this is a big commercial property where we actually went out and dropped these pins to measure the gross lot, and then we'd go in around the building and parking lot and suck that out with the plus and minus features of Service Autopilot's Maps Pro or Smart Maps now in V3. But these are the things that we'd want to do. And we do that for the online 9-arounds or that database as well. So everything went out with property-specific pricing, and it allowed us to sell even quicker. So offline marketing, 3,000 or 300,000 plus direct mail pieces in one spring. This is a picture of what we did here, but the bags go way beyond here. But that's me in the background. Everything's stacked here, and all these bags are a portion of the direct EDM and direct mail piece that we did. So we had EDDM, every direct door mailing, and then we had property-specific mailing in there as well with services. And the key to this really is, if you're going to drop a $30,000 to $40,000 spend, or even $3,000 or $4,000, you don't want to just take it out and push, say, 300,000 flyers out to 300,000 homes. You would want to go out 3 to 9 times and have each house get 3 to 5 different mailings, because it's that frequency. They need to see it 3 to 5 times before it resonates. So if you're looking at a massive ad spend, you want to consolidate that down and take whatever that spend is and hit those folks. So the page, we did a full page insert in the community newspaper that went out 9 different times. So it was 3 different ad copies, and they alternated 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It was interesting. By the 3rd time it went around, they're like, "Oh, we recognize you." But the first one, they had no idea. They just threw it in the trash. But it started to build. So those are some of the keys to success there. And once you did this, we wanted to create this pre-built estimate template with a pricing matrix I'm talking about. So in the lawn mowing example, the square footage here for 11,000 square feet, fictitiously calculated a price of $55, 0.48 hours to do it on site, and a cost of $17.72 before profit. And then we had the ability to break down my market in either postal codes or towns. So when we put the number 1 in here, it calculated an extra $8.09 for mobilization, that non-billable time. Now, if you're working with an expert like Jason Cupp, he may give you a number, your break even per man hour may cover that non-billable drive time on average in your over budget. But what you're going to find is you may not want to charge extra because it's already included in your hourly revenue or billing rate. But what the biggest disconnect is, folks don't put a budgeted time for the certain areas that they're going. So if you're going to that piece rate pay system, or you're putting a big board on the wall of what's your basically your percentage of production. So 100%, are you hitting 100% or better for production? There's a post on the Facebook group yesterday of like, hey, what's your ideal production? Most people are like 70, 80%. I think most people thought I was nuts. And I said, well, 100% if you're covering the budgeted average non-billable drive time. And that needs to be there because you're setting an unreal expectation. Your team, if you've got the right team, wants to hit 100% every day. And it's demoralizing when they're hovering around 80%. So in my opinion, is we want to be at 100%. And if you've worked with an industry consultant doing finances like Jason Cupp, you may not be charging extra for that because that's included in your hourly rate. But in my opinion, you should at least be including the budgeted hours for the drive time. In this, I've got 0.48 on site and I got 0.16 drive times. That's in the mobile or the printed version here in the closeout day screen. You're going to have 0.64 man hours for on-site and average drive time. That's going to give you the numbers for 100% efficiency each day, and you can hold those teams accountable. And it's an apples comparison if you've done your work right based on the zones or postal codes.
Mike, to make sure that I understand here, how is the team tracking that in the field?
The team is literally grabbing their mobile app, hopefully, if not on like printed out copy, and you're clocking in and clocking out. And what I'm going to recommend is you clock into the drive time in and out.
Gotcha.
And the job, because there is a job cost effect and there's a drive time cost effect. And if you have your employees set up correctly under the edit payroll job costing tab on the employee, there should be an hourly wage and an hourly wage regular and overtime with labor burden. That's going to include your FICA, unemployment, holiday pay, and a few other ones. I got some videos out there on it, but those are data in, data out, or no data in, no data out, or very bad data out. So you want to make sure you've got the right numbers in the right places. But great question, Cody, because you're clocking in and out. And now we've got this non-emotional reporting machine for the right players on the bench, hopefully, that are going to be motivated with quality to do that. Mm-hmm. In addition, if you're doing a large amount of jobs and selling the way we were, pumping out 1,100 to 1,200 estimates a month, we need to automate the business owner. We need to automate the salesperson. So you can embed inside Service Autopilot videos right on the line item of the service. So shrub pruning here, we talked about what was included, what wasn't included, and we overcame any sales or price objections through an educational video. In the bottom of the estimate, we had an additional 9 videos, and I think I got it here on the next slide, of our core services, not necessarily our gateway services, but our core services that we offered. Mm-hmm. So we are allowed people 24/7 to understand what they included and what they didn't, and how to do that. And in the SA estimates, we can also include some buttons to automatically call or text if they're on their mobile viewing the estimate, or check out the website. So these are really important. I know it's awkward making videos, but I mean, first draft is better than no draft. Jonathan of SA there in the Lawn Community used to always laugh that he had one for his company, City Turf, that he never swapped out. He has now recently. But the original video for City Turf and the original video I had at Callahan's was definitely a first draft of not being used to be in front of the camera. But it was quirky enough that the consumer related to you as a person and that you actually stood behind it. It wasn't like a fast pitch sales on a commercial. So you don't want perfection in those videos from what I've seen. So as we kind of bring it to the end here, still up there, estimate template with video. So if you go on the Service Autopilot Marketplace, upper hand corner, the little avatar, you go to Marketplace, search for estimate template with videos. I've got a pre-built free template in there that you can download right into Service Autopilot, and it's got instructions how to get those videos from YouTube and all the things we did. It demystifies the whole thing for you, Cody. So that's just a free give for everybody. Hop up to the SA Marketplace and download your own version of the estimate template with videos, how to do that. And it breaks down the other buttons too. So it's just a turnkey thing that we wanted to give for value here. Next thing we looked at is a Ringless voicemail bomb. So the Send Jim integration. Obviously, there's additional cost, but one of the things I really liked outside of the 9 around is something that we use in 20 days to close a lot. So at certain points, we recommend a physical phone call to someone you dropped off an estimate to if they haven't signed up yet. Well, if you don't have the time or you just don't want to make a phone call, Ringless voicemail bombs can automatically be triggered, and it hits the cell phone without ringing, but it looks like a missed call. And it would, in my instance, be like, hey, it's Mike from Callahan. So sorry I missed you. Calling about the estimate you dropped off 3 days ago. Lo and behold, it's exactly 3 days because the automation knows that. But the idea is like, hey, wanted to leave you a message to see if you have any questions regarding the estimate. If you do, give us a call back at this number, or feel free to sign up on the online estimate that we gave you. But we're creating a personal but automated voicemail that's not a robocall. So huge deal there. And most people for a lawn care home cleaning company have no idea this is automated. They're just jazzed you actually picked up the phone and answered the call or called them back. So this is definitely huge. And then as we're looking at it, this is kind of the overflow of our automation and how we handle these different things. But when they hit the website or the office, we drop that lead letter, the 5 or 6 main reasons why we're different. And before the estimate, we do that short-term education. So we're nurturing, we're educating, we're not selling. Once the estimate's done, we're focusing on conversion, that 20 days to close, automated estimate follow-up will be automated text, email, and phone call, or Ringless voicemail bomb. Once the estimate is won, we've got an automated process I call welcome and wow, but we're going to nurture and get that credit card on file automatically through a PCI compliant form through Clarent, which works really well, tokenized, it's great. And then when we've lost the estimate, they've canceled the service, or they need renewal or reminder, and the upsell, we've buttoned in and created a streamlined automated process to make sure what should happen happens when it should happen. Because traditionally when we have to do those things, we're all too busy to remember to do them. So now utilizing Service Autopilot automations, we're able to handle the nurture, the conversion, the nurture for the loss estimates canceled, and then we upsell them or reactivate them through that process at the end. And bringing it home, last part of nurture is like we're going to provide that free valuable information that people want and need. If you had been to, I believe it was SA5 with Marcus Sheridan, he talked about how people buy now and how if you're not providing the information live on your website and in video and social media, they're going to continue looking to the next competitor that does. So this is something that when I had the pleasure of speaking before Marcus, he gave a couple kudos after I got off the stage because we had been doing this for probably 6 or 7 years, very similar to Garrett Matthews in the SA ecosystem as well. But these things work. So if you're not creating free valuable information through either written text or video, you really need to start doing it because we need to nurture them. And then we're going to create that higher perceived value and make you the local expert outside of your competitors. So short-term nurture in there was just basically to educate on the specific service they're interested in and have an automated but personal conversation around it. Then we want to address those sales or price objections. So do I need to be home to have the service done? If I'm a home cleaning company, what kind of insurance should I be looking for? If it's a lawn care or landscape company, are they going to close the fence gate behind them when they leave so the homeowner is worried about the kids and the dog running out of the backyard? These are objections that people are like, I'm not sure if I'm really going to hire this out because I'm not comfortable. Are they going to do the things that I'm concerned about? We want to address them up front before they ask them, and then they feel comfortable with us. And then our conversion, 20 days to close. So whether you're building your own automated estimate follow-up or you're using a product like 20 days to close with SimpleGrowth, there's some key things that I'm going to recommend you put in here. Scarcity. Spots are filling up fast. We don't overbook our schedule. So now they're like, okay, well, they're concerned about quality. They're not going to overbook. We better act quick. We have a deadline. So within 20 days. So the 20-day contact at the end of 20 days to close literally says, do we have permission to close out your account and close out the estimate? So the consumer's thinking like, well, wait a minute. If I don't accept this estimate, I may have to go through this whole estimate process again because it's only good for 20 days. And a CTA, a call to action. Call or text back now to save your spot. And that's where those little links in the estimate or the email may be applicable and making it easy. Just let them click that CTA. And those multiple communications channels, Cody, are really important. That mail, hard mail, phone calls or ringless voicemail bombs, text, and email. And we can automate a lot of this, but yes, some of the mailing should be sent to a mail house or your internal team because a lot of people aren't doing the EDM or direct mailing. So if you're in the mailbox by yourself in the spring season, there's a good chance they're going to notice and look at it out of pure curiosity. And then the final part here is we want to follow up and upsell more profitable work. So automating the follow-up systems through repetitive tasks. So the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and quarterly things you should be doing, we're going to automate through a process I like to call repetitive tasks. So inspections on site after 30 days. So basically what we did at Callahan's is we had an automation. So at 30 days when they bought one of those gateway services, lawn mowing, fertilizing, we would go out with an SA form right inside the phone there, and they would fill it out. But basically what we were doing is we were, yes, checking the quality, but we were capturing through an on-site estimate form the square footage of the bed, the number of small, medium, and large shrubs, all the services that we could provide at that home. We collected the data in custom fields, and in that form, now the automations could trigger and pull that data out, and we could upsell throughout 12 months of the season based on the information we got. So we're going to sell the service over the phone so we don't have to do an on-site estimate. And then 30 days later, we're going to do a QC with collect custom fields to go out and never have to go back out to that house ever again to do an upsell. So seasonal upsell examples based on the timing of the season: weed control, grub control, aeration and overseeding, deep cleaning for the home cleaning industry before the holidays. Yeah, you may be getting a weekly or bi-weekly clean, but a deep clean is literally going to go through and take care of the baseboards, the shades, everything else in the house. And in addition to that, we can upsell some additional services in home cleaning, far as stove cleaning, refrigeration cleaning. Those things are going to need probably done for the holidays. You don't want your relatives and your guests to see what a mess the fridge has become in the last 12 months. So we're going to take those one-time to reoccurring service and increase that client lifetime value. And that's how we're going to tackle it. So the last thing I got here for you, Cody, is stay consistent by automating repetitive tasks and make sure what should happen gets done. So this was the final piece of automating my journey in my business to become an absentee owner. But I realized with 25, 30 employees, I got sucked back in as a full-time daycare. And I had to tell everybody what to do every day, every week, every month, and so on, or it never happened. So what we've learned specifically inside Service Autopilot is there's 7 core areas of business we can automate. And they are sales, customer service, scheduling, billing, office manager, maintenance, and yes, owner. So the owner should be holding themselves accountable for things like taxes. Maybe they have to do quarterly tax returns. Whatever that is, hold yourself accountable. And what we've done, for a real brief example, as a last point here, is if you had a salesperson, say his name's Dave. Dave's job is to do all his estimates and make his follow-up phone calls. If we're doing manual phone calls for follow-ups, if Dave doesn't do his job, I'd say 5 or 5:15, the automation would either text message him or email him and say, hey, Dave, you didn't do your job. This is what should have been done. And then based on the severity of that, the way you would set the automation up, the automation would either email or text message the manager or the owner letting us know Dave didn't do his job. But the whole idea is Service Autopilot, and the automation tells people what to do every day, every week, every month, every quarter, and annually. And if it doesn't happen, it pulls the appropriate person in to handle it, and it alerts the person responsible that they should have done it and they need to get it done. So I know that was a lot all at once, but foundationally, we want to work on that labor pool and that labor bench and make sure we don't have those 3 pitfalls of cash flow, knowing our numbers and the right people. And then we can go on through online marketing, cast that digital net, and then offline marketing to build route density. We really want to focus on selling those core gateway services that we can sell over the phone and then go back 20 to 30 days later on site, collect all the information, and upsell those reoccurring services. Just like the example of going out for the fertilizing and then going to upsell the pest control with the mosquito control. So you're there an extra 10 minutes, but you've tripled your revenue. So That's all I got for you, Cody. I know it was a crazy essay weekly here on this lovely Friday afternoon.
All good info.
Absolutely. Any questions before we wrap it up? I know you got to go. I appreciate you hanging out with me here for the last hour or so.
Oh, no problem. Mike, I think that was all good stuff. I'm excited for people to let us know how they implemented it. By way of reminder, Mike is going to have it set up. If they send the SimpleGrowth page a message, they'll be able to get that flowchart from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go in, it's SimpleGrowthSystems.com.
Mm-hmm.
Give us like an hour or two. I'll have my automations team hop behind it. Actually, brand new look to the website too. I'll actually pull it up on the stream so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So we've got the new look of the website here. Finally, we're the shoemaker's kid, but now you can see it here. This chat bot pops up. If you go, you can either continue as yourself in Facebook or a guest. So that's another huge thing right now with that online digital marketing. The Facebook bots that we've been building here will now act as a chat bot or chat help feature or automated quoting. But the cool thing is now it doesn't matter if they're Facebook Messenger or Facebook person. You can go in as a guest and you click that. Once that pops up where it says ask a question here, just put Essay Weekly slides and somebody on my team will fire off you a PDF, and we'll obviously automate that in the next hour or two. I didn't think about providing that, but that's a good move, Cody, for sure.
You should print it out and put it next to your desk is what I'm saying. I think that it will be super helpful for you to keep in mind as you're working on your marketing plans, especially going into fall upsells. What is the hole that I'm letting people fall out of? So if we're going to give homework on here, your homework is to go find those holes.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it once again. Essay Weekly Talk Show come back live every week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. Cody, I will let you take it away because you did me a favor of actually running the helms today, and I'm just running the technology. So that's beautiful. So,
all right, guys. Well, we will see you next week. We should have an exciting guest.
All right. See you next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central. Essay Weekly Talk Show. Mike Callahan, Cody Owens. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.